boy Bleeves. Everybody listen up. Let's get it. I'm trying to put money in your pocket. That crypto wallet. That bing bada bing ching ching big profit. Even when the market sideways, I'm looking for ways to get paid. I'm checking my coins around breakfast, then again around bedtime. Bet this, it's not financial advice, but I'm always right. 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 I'm always right.
What is going on? Welcome to Trading with Bleeves. If you haven't already, make sure you hit the like button. If you pre-liked the like button before you got in here, that's awesome. If you didn't, you got to hit the goddamn like button. Like, what are we doing here? All right, guys, we're here to talk about trading. Yesterday, I felt a little bit pressed. I have tried to force some trades, and they haven't gone very well for the day so far. We're down just a little bit. We seem to be in an okay position. Before we get started, we do need to address the elephant in the room. And the elephant in the room is those criminal, godless backstabbers at all nodes, those disgusting losers, those worthless bag of dicks. I don't really have a, but it's a lot of them. It's a lot of them. In fact, Lunk Live decided to vote no, not wanting progress on the Luna Classic chain. There were a lot of people that stepped in here. It took a lot of assholes to shit on this project. Okay. So let me give you the breakdown real quick before we get started, just in case you are with Terra Luna Classic. We can look at the governance total and come up with what happened today. So, boom, 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 boom. I might be having a little bit of a connection issue here or something like that. I don't know what's going on. I don't know. Okay, so USTD, decentralized and fully automated yield-bearing stablecoin, was rejected in the final moments. And by the way, we do need to at least consider the reasoning behind why these guys decided that they hate you and they hate your bag and they want you to fail. Okay, we do have to at least consider that. All nodes issued a statement. Lunk Live issued a statement. There were people out here that put up statements. So there's actually reasoning behind it, and it's very tough to be angry with any of these reasons. Okay, this is, and I'm being totally fair with it. All Node says, we are voting no because we hate your progress and we don't want you to make money. I'm just kidding. We voted no because the proposal should not use community pool funds. If the returns are as good as back tested, new capital can be raised to fund it. So their lie is that they're protecting your community pool. By the way, I say that jokingly, but they're trying to protect the community pool. Lunk Live says validators are to protect the network from any threats or risks that compromise the integrity of this chain and its people. Our focus is mainly on the people and protecting their investment in the safest and most reliable way possible. We vote no. Okay. So here is the question. And by the way, just so you guys know, Diamond Hand's probably going to see this and probably be mad at me because he and I are friends. We have each other's phone numbers. We talk on the phone every once in a while. And I would challenge Diamond Hands to show me where on the chart they've done anything to help the chain. And that is going to be a very difficult conversation and proposition for a lot of these people. Okay. They're going to have to explain how they're supposed to be protecting something that they've already gutted. Not, by the way, it's not Diamond Hands specifically. Like, he didn't gut anything. He's like me, we're fans of the project. We're fans and we're trying to see it go to a new level. But every time we get to the spot where there could be a new level, all of these things get voted down. And by the way, just so you know, this is them protecting your bag. This is them protecting investors. And we should do this. We're going to make a post here. This right here is the LUNC validators protecting investors. Do you see the clown show yet? There we go. All right. So there you have it. New low for Terra Luna Classic. New low for Terra Luna Classic. Thanks, validators. You guys are just killing it. And by killing it, I mean you're literally killing the chain. Like, holy shit. How can you be this bad at validation? You know what I mean? By the way, half-gallon jugs of water now. That's what we're doing. It's crazy. Also, my lighting is way messed up right now. I got to fix it. Ew, that sucks. That's a little better. All right. It's going to be in my eyes, but who gives a shit? All right. So what we've got so far is that the Terra Luna Classic validators just backstab their investors. Okay. Backstab their investors. Okay. All of the delegators who were delegating to these guys, they were voting yes for it, by the way. And for full disclosure, like, I don't want you to think that I'm not making this shit up. This right here, these are the validators that vote. These are the validators and the people voting no, right? There's a validator voting no right here. 99% of their delegators voted yes. 91% of these validators voted yes. 67% of these delegators voted yes. 40% of now, by the way, Natawa, this one up here, they should get a pass on that because they're voting no. Their people are holding to no or no veto. Burn It All, 99% of them voted yes, despite Burn It All voting no. Hexagon, 96% of their delegators voted yes. They voted no. Luna Classic DAO, 78% of their delegators voted yes. They voted no. They don't care about you. They don't care about your bag. They don't respect you. They don't respect your wishes, your decisions. They don't respect anything about you. And if you want to convince me otherwise, show me on the chart. Show me on the chart where they respect you. So anyway, now we got to move on because we don't really give a shit. Look, we're at the spot right now. We're at the spot right now where, Terra Luna Classic to me, this is probably the end. Okay. I don't really have any other explanation for this. The validators chose not to protect you. Okay. They chose to protect themselves and keep their cottage industry of getting money every month and cashing out their Terra Luna Classic to pay their bills. They made that more important than protecting you and your bag because you spoke. You voted yes. Most of you voted yes. They voted no. They stopped your progress. And I don't have an answer for that. The devil gonna do what the devil gonna do, dog. So here we are. And by the way, they're gonna tell you tomorrow. I would imagine Diamond Hands probably have a Twitter Spaces where he'll go, say some shit about why he's protecting you, why dumping on the price, why dumping the bag while making Luna Classic less valuable to actually making it more valuable, bro. I don't know what to say to that. I don't know what to say to that because we are living in a cartoon at this point. Okay. Now, I will say that if this is a financial situation, and it is a financial situation, obviously, and ultimately, this is a financial situation, they should stick to explaining it as in finances and not as in protecting you, because nobody's asking for your protection. Nobody was asking you for your protection. And Randawa says, well, you know what? I guess we should point out this right here. This is how scheming and devious these people are. Like, you really have to look at the scumbaggery that's going on here and take all nodes out of the mix for this portion and just focus on this one, because this is some shady shit right here. Jesus is Lord suddenly got 2 billion unstaked and 1.5 billion unstaked. And where did they all go? They all went to Greenpeace. They all went to Greenpeace. They were stabbing you in the front and they were stabbing you in the back. Okay. It's absolutely wild. So that's not the purpose behind what we're doing here, though. That's not the purpose. The purpose here is to try to make some money from doing some trades. And the market yesterday, we got into, I want to say 4 or 5 trades, and we suck on every single one of them. Okay. Ultimately, we might be fine. Ultimately, we could be okay. Ultimately, we're going to look at the charts. We're going to try to figure out how do we get out of this goddamn mess. If we break it down where we are right now, what we were hoping for and what we were looking at last night was a breakdown to about, we were hoping that we were going to get a reversal, that there was a potential because we had broken sideways here that maybe we would get a reversal and we would get a move back up to the top of this channel. We would take a profit at that point. Then we would wait for another dip and we would do the dip. We're not going short on anything. We're only focusing on our long positions. Well, when I was looking at it last night, I was feeling pressed. So we made some mistaken trades on this one, to be fair. Like, we didn't, all of them didn't suck. We took Bitcoin at a lower price. We still have plenty of margin. I think ultimately probably going to be fine. But here's what's going on tomorrow. We've got a 32 billion options expiry. This says 22 billion, but it was actually 32 billion a few hours ago. Bloomberg, they just make up their own fucking math on it. It's absolutely crazy. It was 15 billion in expiry at the end of this month, like a month, or no, it's 15 billion last month. Let's do crypto. This morning it was 32 billion. Today it might be 22 billion. We might have deleveraged a few people. So let's go to CoinDesk. Because, by the way, these numbers do change over time because people exit their positions and shit like that. So you might be seeing these numbers changing as it draws closer. And by the way, it's going to be over pretty soon. Okay, so here we have 17 billion in Bitcoin options expire tomorrow. And they're now saying for now, Bitcoin is expected to consolidate between 110,000 and 116,000. And we're not getting a total from these guys, but let's just go with 22. This is the largest Bitcoin contract, or this is the largest crypto options expiry in history. Should be a testament to the fact that people are getting into the market, and the fact that we're dumping today during this massive options expiry means that people are pricing in lower. If they're pricing in lower, I think that would tend to mean that they expect the price to reverse, and I think that they expect to see some positive movement out of it. I think they're liquidating right now before that hits because they believe that there's a good possibility of upward momentum. Now, I'm still not concerned, and I told you this yesterday. The reason I'm not concerned yet is because up, still up. Now, if we go down 3.64, so if we go down another 50 billion, if we go down another $60 billion, let's call it, If we go down $60 billion, then we're in trouble. We're in trouble of starting a downtrend. Remember, we talked about this the last time. We talked about this yesterday. I said, for the moment, we're okay. But in the event that we dip down with this and this reversing trend, this is up, this is up, this is up. But if this keeps coming down and this reverses, it becomes a downward trend. Okay. And if that downward trend happens, then that means that we've gone bearish. Now, we've gone bearish despite the fact that global liquidity and capital is flowing into all of these markets. Okay. Money is still pouring into M2 money supply, I should say, is still continuing to print. So what are we seeing happening and what are we seeing play out right now? Well, Trump's done such a great job at negotiating with people that Russia and China are flying exercises right outside the coast of Alaska right now in open waters. So that's happening right now. Donald Trump 2 days ago reversed his course of being, let's call it friendly. Let's call it friendly with Vladimir Putin. By the way, the Trump Hotel in Moscow has been canceled. So if you guys remember, there was some talk back in 2020, 2019, 2020, 2021 about building a Trump Tower in Moscow. Well, that deal is now dead. And all of a sudden, Donald Trump is supporting Ukraine. Let me say that again, because some of you just hate it, right? Donald Trump is now supporting Ukraine. Wait, I thought Ukraine were the bad guys. Why would Donald Trump be supporting the bad guys instead of the other bad guys? What exactly happened? I don't know. I don't have the employee handbook of MAGA on how to make excuses for Donald Trump, so I don't know what the excuses are going to be. Most of the excuses are going to be, well, I don't like it. I don't think it's really cool. I don't think that's what we should be doing, but I support the president. And you still don't have the Epstein files, by the way. So, guys, I don't make this shit up. I just report it to you. The Trump Hotel's been canceled. We now support Ukraine again. And suddenly Russia's no longer our buddy for MAGA. So, I mean, hey, so you're saying I was on the right side all this time and you fought me over my position? And it's actually really cool in Russia. Like, they're really democratic. Like, it's really kind of awesome over there. Like, it's really awesome. You know what I mean? So that's not the case anymore. Give it 3 or 4 days before we make that assertion. All right, let's see how that plays out. Anyway, let's get back into it. So I'm going to laugh a few times tonight just because, God damn it. You know what I mean? That's all I can do at this point is laugh. Look at what happened here. Okay, so we are now down about 50 and in some cases 60%. We are in trouble and at risk of being liquidated. I don't have a problem here with my Bitcoin long, okay? The Bitcoin long that we have right here, I think if we get liquidated, if there's any chance of us getting liquidated, if there's any chance of that, I think we're going to reverse before that happens. I feel like we're going to reverse before that happens. Now, I'm worried about the link one. We're only down 32% on that, but these are big and significant losses. What we really need to see is a quick reversal. I don't know if we're going to get that. Okay. So we're gonna put a fork in these right now. I don't have anything to play with. One thing that I did do, though, by the way, is while we were getting ready for the show, I went with the open price of $20.50 right here, and I got myself back into an extra link trade. It's weird that those don't merge, by the way. It's weird that some websites have them merge and some of them don't. So we're up $600 at this point, but we could lose a lot. This could be there is a possibility of a gross liquidation event happening. So we're going to look at the market. And we're going to see if we can develop a thesis about what's going to happen. We have about 40 minutes until the market resets. So what does it look like right now? Let's remove M2 money supply, because the M2 money supply is telling us that we're going to go so much higher. Now, if that's happening and the market is dumping, then what are you watching and what are you seeing? What you're watching and what you're seeing is a manipulation event. Now, why is the market dumping? Well, let's go over to X, crypto dump. Let's just see what crypto dump brings up. 4 reasons why crypto market is dumping. Options expiry tomorrow, 23 billion. It was 22. It was 32. Now it's 20, or was 23 6 hours ago. It was 32 this morning. Now it's down to 22. This is a quarterly options expiry and often brings high volatility. Max pain price for Bitcoin is 110,000 and 3,700 for Ethereum. We're in max pain right now. If that's true, that's great. Okay. Usually whales drive prices towards max pain, and that's what's happening. Number 2, U.S. government shutdown. Now, by the way, my MAGA geniuses, if Republicans control the White House and the Senate and the House, how do you call it a Schumer shutdown? How is that possible? You control all 3 legislative branches. So you tell me how it's Chuck Schumer's fault that you can't get your own people on your team to do what you want. I don't have an answer for you because you're lying to America. Anyway, so there is a possibility of the government being shut down by October 1st. The odds of it happening are at 67%. In the past, U.S. government shutdowns have resulted in market correction, and this is why people are panicking. Number 3, we have strong economic data. GDP revised data came in at 3.8 versus 3.3. What does that mean? Well, that means that we are about to get shit on for rate cuts. Good economic data is bullish in the long term, but bearish in the short term. This is because good economic data lowers the chances of rate cuts. So the rate cut that we were trying to price in, that we thought we were going to get, is no longer going to happen. And the 4th thing, which is the worst thing, is excessive leverage. In the past week, retail opened high leverage positions due to perps like perps DEX hype. At one point, alts open interest was almost 2 times that of Bitcoin. And right now, those people are getting liquidated, which is causing a market dump. Conclusion, I think this is a perfect setup by whales to panic sell your coins before Q4. They started September in a bullish way to make people think that it'll be up only. Now the whales are dumping, so people panic sell before the Q4 rally. And that is probably what's going to happen. There you go. Because Democrat want give 1 trillion monies to transgender to illegal health care insurance. What the fuck does that have to do with Republicans controlling the House, with Republicans controlling the Senate, with Republicans controlling the presidency? Your response is bullshit. It doesn't exist. They don't need any of that. They can just vote to continue. They can just vote on a continuation, and they can vote on the funding package, and they don't need a 66% or 60% majority. 51-49 works, and they have the votes. So stop pretending. This is crazy. This is insanity. Guys, this is nuts, okay? You're blaming Democrats, but you have the votes. So why are they close to it? Because Republicans are not voting for it. Because here's the thing. Republicans are supposed to be the party of fiscal responsibility. Donald Trump is fiscally irresponsible. Donald Trump added $5 trillion to the national debt with his latest plan. Some Republicans have decided enough is enough. Start continuing bigger cuts in government funding. Don't continue to add more to the bill. That's what's happening. That's what's happening. Republicans have decided that on some of them, they're going to be responsible. Okay. People like Marjorie Taylor Greene are calling out Donald Trump over the Epstein files. Lauren Boebert calling out Donald Trump over the Epstein files. Some of these influencers are calling them out because they're hiding from the American people the thing that they promised the American people. And they're pretending like it doesn't exist. And they're going from catastrophe to catastrophe to make sure that it distracts from all of these pieces that they don't want you to see. I mean, stop me when I'm telling lies. Republicans control each legislative branch, and they're not legislating. And I told you a long time ago, they're not going to. I told you a long time ago, they won't do anything because the principles by which they're currently governed are going to be untenable because some of these people have principles and the Trump administration has no principles. And that makes it very tough to get legislation passed. You can get most people involved. Okay. Most people don't have integrity. Most people don't care. Most people will do anything just because they want to get the votes because they just want their job. They just want to be in charge. They just want to take care of something, but they want to please the president as well. Right. Then there's other ones that have the principle. And by the way, I should back up a little bit. The Republican Party that you know today is dead. Okay. The MAGA, it really should be at this point, the MAGA party. Okay. That's what's going on. That's what's going on. Okay. MAGA is a liberal party. It's a libertarian party. Okay. Not liberal. I shouldn't say liberal. Although that's kind of where libertarian comes from. Liberty. Liberalism is part of the liberty process. Okay. Free speech should be absolute. And I think that most people kind of agree, unless we're talking about Jeff, unless we're talking about Trump's best friend, Jeffrey Epstein, unless we're talking about that, we want free speech. Okay. So, it's getting kind of weird in that party. And you're starting to see some fracturing because the principles by which the Republican Party have been governed by are not what Donald Trump does. Donald Trump is still kind of liberal in principle. What he doesn't like, and by the way, what liberals should have not liked to begin with was the trans issue in athletics. It shouldn't have been like, well, they can compete. That's stupid. That's dumb. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard of. And shame on every Democrat who was like, that's not a big deal. Is it a big deal? Because you lost every goddamn legislative branch because of it. Stupid stuff, okay? That stupid stuff, that's the Democratic Party. Republican Party has their own stupid stuff, but MAGA has kind of taken it over. And every once in a while, you see one of these guys kind of stand up and start to fight back a little bit because nothing about the Republican Party is conservative under the Trump administration. There's plenty of conservatives in the party. There's plenty who believe in lower taxes or at least giving all the money to the wealthy. Like, duh. Look, Donald Trump, you need a game show host to convince poor people to give all their money to rich people because it's going to make their life better. Like, who the fuck would fall for that? 78 million Americans, apparently. You know what I mean? Like, it's absolutely bonkers in my brain. Okay. But lower taxes for everybody kind of takes the sting out of that. Okay. So we do have to recognize that it does take kind of the sting out of it. Because look, I'll go back to and tell you the old days. In the old days, when we were talking about make America great again, the time when you can define American greatness, there was a marginal tax of up to 70, 80, and 90% on the top 1%. There was. And it wasn't at like $1 million. Like you make $1 million and you pay taxes like a normal person. $2 million, you pay taxes like a normal person. Over $5 million, you started to pay a higher tax level. Over 10 million, you started to pay an even higher one. That's why people like Elon, disgusting people who hide their money. By the way, I say that because it's not Elon's not disgusting. Elon's retarded. We know that. I'm not saying he's disgusting. I'm saying that the process that they created was disgusting, because what do? You give people options. You give them stock options and stuff like that. And you tell them that they can do this in stock and they don't have to sell the stock right away. They don't have to pay taxes. Elon Musk doesn't pay himself. He doesn't pay himself. You see what I'm saying? That's in order to avoid paying taxes every year. And it's standard in the industry. This is not an Elon thing. This is everybody who's up at that tier is doing that. Okay. But people like that found a new way to avoid paying taxes. And they're the ones that make the policy decisions and shit like that. Right now, if you remember 2 years ago, Elon Musk had to settle because like you have like 10 years before when you receive something, before you can, to cash it or something like that. He paid an enormous amount of taxes 2 years ago. All right. So it should be fair to point out, like, it's not like, it's not an Elon thing again, because he's paying an enormous tax burden. Okay. Now he's got a huge amount of money. So there's a lot of people with huge amounts of money that completely avoid these tax situations because they don't want to pay taxes. Okay. But the fact that the government allows them to do it was a Republican thing to begin with. It's been kind of absorbed by the Democratic Party. So ultimately, my point is really there should be a MAGA party. Like they should be fighting right now to rename the Republican Party the Great American Party, the GAP, Great American Party. It shouldn't be MAGA, by the way. That's stupid. That's stupid. But it should be the Great American Party, because that's a couple of the words, make America great. So Great American Party. So instead of GOP, it'll be GAP, something like that. Like that's what I think should happen. And then the Republicans can, the Republicans who are not down with it, they can form their own third party, call it the American Party with Elon Musk or whatever. You know what I mean? My point is that MAGA is, in many different instances, a bunch of libertarians who used to be Democrats who were just riding the wave. When Donald Trump said, "I love the uneducated," you know what he meant. You know what he meant. The people who don't go to school, that don't spend their life getting quote unquote educated only to really get indoctrinated into some crazy shit. My tax preparer is going to make me do my taxes with the migrate per wallet cost basis confusion. Agreeing with everything you have to say. I really hope that we get some kind of, I don't know what we're going to get from the government, but a stay on taxation of crypto assets for 5 years, something like that. Like I hope that we find a more simplistic way of taxation. And by the way, we should have that by the end of the year. That's part of the Clarity Act. So, when we get to the nuts and bolts of it, maybe, just maybe, we're in a better situation than when we started. I think that we will. I think this administration is the right administration to take us forward in crypto. But it's just not the Republican Party that we used to know and despise or love, depending on what side of the aisle you were on. You know what I mean? It's just not the same. So anyway, fingers crossed. Now, with that being the case, how do we navigate this right now? I'm nervous about what's going to happen tomorrow. I mean, we're talking about Max Payne, and we still continue to see Max Payne playing out. Now, at the same time, guess what we're also seeing? We're also seeing the reversal. We're seeing the Bitcoin reversal, not the price reversal, but we're seeing dominance reversing. And that means that Bitcoin is probably the first one that's going to start shooting up like a rocket. Now, the question for most of this is going to be Japan 10-year treasury yields. Let's go look at it right now. It was kind of at 1.65%. The last time we looked, it's at 1.64. It's up on the day. Let's go look at it on we got 1 year right now. Let's look at it on the 5-day. Okay, so on the 5-day, it was spiking a few days ago. It's drawn down slightly today from, what is this number over here? 1.665. God damn. Whew. Okay, so the Asian market is going to wake up and they're going to be having a shit fit. All right. So that may not be good. China markets pre. Let's see what we got right here. China set up segments on Star. No, that's not it. We're not looking for that. We're not getting any news on China. Let's remove pre. China markets today. China bond sell-off deepens as booming stocks lure investors away. Chinese government bonds erased an earlier decline that drove yields on long-term notes to the highest levels. China's dealing with the same thing. Their bond notes and their government borrowing is going out of control. Boom, 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 boom. China unveils new. Remember, I told you this yesterday. China has unveiled a new step to boost offshore yuan market in Hong Kong. They stopped them from doing real world assets. RWA tokenization is now dead on arrival in Hong Kong, despite the fact that Hong Kong was supposed to be hands off on China, or that China was supposed to be hands off on Hong Kong. They are now hands on. All right, Alibaba is now turning into China's hottest AI play. It's up about 50% on the month. I don't know. I think it's this bond sell-off is the one thing that we probably have to worry about the most from the Chinese market. And we're down 174 billion on the day. So nobody at this point has seen the quote unquote, the light, if you will. So this could be a much deeper sell-off. Now, if we're looking at the chart, where are we looking at the bounce to come from? And to be fair, if we're not going to get a break from here, which again, we're still bullish. The thesis right now is still bullish for a reversal and a breakout. However, if that doesn't happen and we break down below, then we're talking about Bitcoin to 95,000. Okay. And that's a real thing right there. J Manuel, they did not pass at the last minute. All nodes came in and voted no. Lunk Live came in and voted no. And, you know, dead Lunk gonna be dead Lunk. I mean, I don't know what else to say at this point. I don't know what else to say. I did make a post about it, by the way. Some of these guys might have a response to it, but this right here is the Lunk Validators Protecting Investors. Do you see the clown show yet? By the way, here's the link for you guys if you want to go engage with that tweet and leave your comment right there. I don't even know what to say. I really don't even know what to say about it. Anyway, so China's sovereign bond erase drops fueled by rotation into stocks. So, and by the way, same thing happening in the U.S. Let's do the U.S. 10-year Treasury yield. This is what we've been fighting for a long ass time. Okay, this is what it looks like on the 1 month right now. There was a dip finally a few days ago, and now it's spiking again. But let's zoom out just a little bit more and go 6 months. There was a time when we were at 4.6 almost. Okay. Now it's down to 4.168, 4.17. Okay. So there's been progress, but it's really not enough. Like the 1 year over here, this is where we need to start going down these 3.7 numbers. And here's the thing, just so you guys understand, the average yield on just, you know, the Dow Jones, the average yield on NASDAQ, stuff like that is competitive with these bonds. Now, treasuries are considered the safest investment in all of risk. Okay. Oh, by the way, former FBI Director James Comey indicted. James Comey has been indicted for lying to Congress in September, I want to say, of 2020. And it was about something or other. Now, when the information was presented, the Attorney General refused to press charges because they couldn't find any lying. So Donald Trump fired that person and hired his personal attorney as an attorney general just because look, Donald Trump's got to make a case. It doesn't matter whether he wins or not. Okay. It doesn't matter whether he wins the case or not. The important part is he has to get that indictment, because let's face it, for 12 years, he's been talking about arresting Hillary Clinton. Didn't do it. For 10 years, he's been talking about arresting Barack Obama. Didn't do it. For 6 years, he was talking about locking up Hunter Biden. He didn't do it. He's got to do something to somebody, even if he's breaking the law. It doesn't matter at this point. He's going to pardon himself. You know what I'm saying? So James Comey being indicted was a go. And by the way, it should be noted that James Comey was not indicted by the new attorney general. They took that to a grand jury to make that decision. So a jury of 9 individuals looked at the evidence, looked at the data, and said it's at least worthy of an indictment, so that he has to answer for it in court. Now, most likely, I don't know that it won't be dropped because it's good for political leverage. However, I would think if I'm James Comey and James Comey's attorney, I would be moving for a speedy trial, because the Republicans are going to use, they want to use this. This is political capital. They're wanting to use it as a political ploy. So they're going to want a speedy trial. They're not going to want something that draws out. You know what I'm saying? Because it's not good for, quote unquote, the business model, if you will. By the way, James Comey is a Republican, to be clear. He is a Republican. So, but I don't think that he wants to be politicized. So I think he'll move for, let's get this, let's do it now. Let's get it over with. Let's get this thing in front of a judge and let's see what happens. And get me a jury, get me a jury, and let's play the game. And I think he walks. You know what I'm saying? No charges, nothing like that. It'll just be a waste of a few million taxpayer dollars, but it needed to happen for the Trump, for the cult is losing faith in their cult leader. So they don't need a win, by the way. Let's be real. They haven't arrested anybody. They haven't done anything. Okay. So they need not a win, but they need the appearance of a win. That's what they need. So this is a good move from that context. When it gets dismissed and stuff like that, then they can say, well, the jury was bought and paid for by the DNC, and they could make a bunch of excuses and stuff like that. But if they didn't make a move, they're losing support. And they keep losing support because they're squashing the Epstein information. They're trying to suppress it. They're trying to prevent these things from coming out. All this stuff they talked all this stuff about for a long period of time, they're now backtracking on. So they need something that they can win. And they're probably not gonna win this, but they need to have that fight. And by the way, I think it deserves to have that fight. I think they should have that fight in court, and all information will then become public, and we'll be able to see it, and we'll be able to judge for ourselves exactly what's going on. Not that we haven't already, because most of this information is public, but let's see it. Let's get it presented. Let's put it in front of in front of a judge, in front of a jury, and let's have somebody decide: did he lie to Congress or did he not lie to Congress? Also, U.S. to impose 100% tariff on branded patented drugs unless firms build plants locally, Trump says. So guess what? Trump's raising your drug prices. You can't make this shit up. You cannot make this shit up. You know what? I like that blue light. I'm going to put that back on. God damn it. Oh, I guess I'm not, because it fucks with the backer. God damn it. What do I need to do? I need to stop trying. This motherfucker. Oh, well. I'll figure it out one day. Jesus Christ, man. I can't get a win for nothing on this motherfucker. All right, so 4.17, not great, but it's been way better. But it has come down. So, we'll see what happens there. let's see what the market is doing right now. We're still at 173 billion. 15 minutes left until the reset. At 173 billion, like, we'd like to see a little bit of progress happening right now, because, by the way, Japan is going to have their expiries. Australia is going to have expiries today. China is going to have expiries today. This is going to be the biggest day. So, you know, we could be looking at 173 billion. We could look at 173 billion come out of this market in just a few more minutes. Like, we could see it happen all over again. Like, we could see a massive dump just start and absolutely annihilate this market. Okay. This could be the absolute black swan event, that the cleansing fire, if you will. And then, by the way, we're going to be short-term bullish, but let's still zoom out. The thing to remember in this always, the thing to remember is, when in doubt, zoom out, right? So if I say to you that I'm bearish right now because we're getting this lower high over here, that we're starting to come down like this, right? And then I see this move right here as we come down right here. That's a bearish trend, but when we look at a little longer time frame, higher, higher, higher. So that's not a bearish trend. That's a consolidation. So we're still pretty bullish overall, okay? So, really, we're just like right here. Like, we had this right here, then we had this big move up here, then we had this collapse. It wasn't really a collapse because it went higher. And then we had the breakout. Now we're collapsing again down here to 94, 90, 95,000, 94,000. That's not going to be bearish, really. That's just going to be how the market moves. And then we're going to get that bam blow up. Now, here's the problem with all of this. And God damn it, I'm putting too many lines on this fucking thing. Starting to get on my nerves. Here is where the rubber hits the road, if you will. Money is still flowing into markets. Capital is still pumping into assets, but it's not coming into crypto anymore. So now the question is, what do we make of that? What's up, Trail Boss? Let's go to gold and let's see how gold is reacting. Gold is dead even on the day. What I tell you about gold earlier today, that it looks like it's at the top and it looks like it's not going to break out any further. However, we tie this up to this, to this move right here, and we look at it from this context and we see it, and it's moving like we're not like So I think that if we look at this from this standpoint, if we shorten this time frame down to 78 days, let's see what happens there. No, we need 115, 120. Like, maybe that right there. I don't think that's right. That is not right. That can't be right. That cannot be right, because that top over there doesn't make any sense coming from that direction. I think the market's just all wonky. So, fuck, what are we doing here? 70, 70, 70, 70. Let's go back to 78. Let's go back to Bitcoin. How are we on? Oh, God, that's not right. For the moment, close enough. Anyway, so we're breaking down right now when the rest of the market is pumping. All right. That is a problem, but ultimately money is still pumping into markets. So we are going to go higher. We are not out of the bear market yet, or the bull market yet. We are still in a bullish phase. Also, bull market peak signal indicators, they will start ticking off, right? They will start ticking off. It's not magic. So right now you're in 100% hodl. All the peak indicators have not been triggered. Even altcoin season, very close, but not there. Even the 2-year MA multiplier, not even close. Bitcoin dominance, but it's about to rally. Long-term holder supply looks pretty like we're almost triggered on a few of them. Crypto Bitcoin bull run index right there. Bitcoin trend indicator. Some of these are going to have to drop. Some of these are going to have to drop before we can actually say that it's time to start considering that maybe this rally is over. So basically what we're looking at right now is all of the people all of the quote unquote investors, the institutions, they're just trying to steal your money from you. I mean, I say it to you all the time. I mean it every time. Half-gallon jug, baby. Woo! But now you're seeing it play out real time. Okay. So the market, I think, is going to get ready for this right here. We're going to see a big rally coming very, very soon. We might be looking for guidance. We might be looking for something from the administration to get us that next little trickle to the upside, to get us really kind of focused on building boom, 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 trying to get that money to come in. Like, we may need one more big motivator. Trump administration is going to be on that, I'm sure. They want this thing to go up too. They're making money hand over fist. Donald Trump is an actual billionaire now based on his crypto holdings, not a pretend billionaire like he's been for the last bunch of years. And by the way, when I say that, that's no disrespect. That's me saying that the value of everything that he's done doesn't have him a billionaire. He isn't a billionaire because of that. He's a billionaire now because of crypto. He's holding billions of dollars in cryptocurrency. He is now a legitimate billionaire. Okay. I mean, of course, you still have to cash out and not crash out, but you get my point. My point will remain. It's cool that he's been able to use his position of power to create that. I mean, it might suck for some people. I don't give a shit. It doesn't matter to me. But it does matter to some people. It is a little bit, I mean, it's shady. When you've even got people on Fox Business News calling the administration out, then there's something wrong there. But who gives a shit? You know what I mean? Like, I don't care. What I care about is make the tariffs work to our advantage, give our farmers. By the way, there's a lot going on with U.S. farmers right now. U.S. farmers in trouble. Trump policies are devastating farmers. Trump's trade war pushes some U.S. farmers to the brink. The 4-alarm fire in farm country. This is from Farm Progress. This is a right-wing think tank news organization. Grain prices are down, input prices are up, and not enough folks are buying U.S. products. Here's how Congress and the Trump administration could actually help. And what they're saying is, what we're doing right now is not working. We've got to do more. So they have to come up with something to kind of fix this. And it's the tariff. It is the tariff. Okay. So the bad part about what's happened is you need migrants in order to pick the crops because, y'all ain't doing it. So you need employees to work on these farms, and you need them to do it cheaply so that food prices don't become enormous. Also, you should probably start some antitrust shit with the 4 companies that control the world's food supply. Who did that? Democrats and Republicans both. You probably need to do something about that. But, ultimately, what you have is crops that are being missed or not being able to be produced because the ICE people are raiding these farms, and they're taking away labor that these people rely on. And that's creating another problem while there's a tariff war going on. So all of these things compounding at the same time create maximum pain. But ultimately, maximum reward comes from this. At least I feel that way. I could be wrong. It's the Trump administration. They'll find a way to screw it up. You know what I mean? Like, I'm sure they'll find some kind of way to do something stupid. You know what I mean? So we'll see whether or not they whether they do it. I don't know. By the way, I'm trying I got new scenes that I've been kind of messing around with, trying to get right. This charting 2's got to go. We don't like that one. We're going to remove that one. I thought that was a good idea at first. Then I got this one for the news and stuff like that. I just don't have it in the right spot, or, you know, like I'm just not, I don't know. Not a fan of how I've got it set up yet, but we'll see. Anyway, messing around with new setups. Anyway, something big is about to happen in the crypto market. Yeah, but it could be a downside. You know, we could be looking at some downside momentum. Down to 176 billion down on the day. By the way, remember the Dow Jones was fighting back on the dump, but you know, you could just see that this market was looking for a reason to, like, people are just looking for a reason to dump right now. That's really what's going on. And by the way, it's not because they're afraid or scared in the market. I mean, you might be, you're retail, but institutions are taking their money out because it's time to rotate it back into Bitcoin. I mean, that's what's been happening for the last bunch of days. What you're going to see, and by the way, I haven't looked at this yet at all. 173 billion is Tether's market cap. Look at that. I mean, I knew, I fucking knew that this is like, I could tell you this was about to happen. I could just tell you it was about to happen, because guess what's going on? The money's not coming out of the market necessarily. A lot of it is just being moved over into Tether. Stablecoin holdings are up to 173 billion in Tether. Guys, a couple months ago, we were talking about it at 150 and 160. It's at 173 billion right now. What about USDC? The fuck is USDC doing here? Market cap for USD, $74 billion. And we were talking about them at $60 billion and at $50 billion and at $40 billion. So they're just waiting to deploy capital. At some point, we're going to be talking about that capital right there getting deployed into risk assets. We're going to see 173. What we need to see in the market, by the way, if you go to, let's go back one step. Let's go back to Tether and let's go look at all time. Let's see market cap. And then let's go to May right there. See in May, that's when we were surging, and then boom, it starts to dump as we go into the pump. And then every time we get serious pumps, we get dumps in Tether, little tiny dumps in Tether. That usually signals that the market is reversing. So that's what we're looking for. The volume, look at this, the volume on stable coins, the volume on Tether yesterday, 201 billion, up 57%. Think about that. They threw all their money out of risk assets and threw it all into Tether. Why? Because they're waiting for the dip to buy Bitcoin. Do you think we're going to have an extended bull run? I mean, Willard, here, this is what I gave you guys, that I gave you a long time ago. The cycle top. The cycle top, in my estimation, is going to be June of 2026. I gave this to you guys a long time ago. By the way, the reason that I gave you at that point was because my thesis was based on the top, which I called at 173,000. And I said that the most likely scenario is that we continue in this trend line until it breaks down to the downside. And I don't think we break above it on the upside. I think that we break down on the downside. And I think that when that happens, that it's going to be right here that we're going to see, we'll see. This might happen, or this might happen. Then this is going to happen. And then boom, 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 boom. We're going to have that happen. In the meantime, we might have a little play happening right in here or something like that. We might not come all the way down here. We might come all the way down there. But right there, the blow off is 173,000 at next year in June. Possibility of it. That don't sound good. I just got a cha-ching that happened right there. Okay, so it looks like we got a problem on Solana. Solana is dumping. Yeah. Looks like we might get liquidated on Solana. Anyway, and look, to be fair, like cycle reset. That's what it is. We just reset the market. So everything is in the green all of a sudden. That's what it is. So the market started to reverse because now we've wiped out that 170 something, that big red candle that we have here for the day is now minted and printed. And now we're starting a new candle. So that's what it was. Oh, by the way, I just heard a cha-ching in everything. So that's why I'm saying that. So, but anyway, I mean, we could see a lot more pain in this market. The question is, where is max pain? For Bitcoin, people talked about 111,000 being max pain. To me, bullshit. We were at 108,000 a couple days ago. That's not max pain. Max pain is losing this position. Max pain is losing this position. We're not in max pain yet. So I don't know what's going to end up happening there. But here's what I do know. Farmers are struggling. People who are trying to make ends meet are struggling. The Trump administration has not done enough yet to fix some of the problems, but they cannot fix those problems. Those problems were endemic to our society. It's going to take time. Time is the thing that's going to fix it, not the Trump administration. The Trump administration can provide guidance to make things better. They can provide tariff fights to try to create a future for the farmers, because ultimately what farmers need is they need more people buying their goods. That's what we need. We need to be able to maximize our farmland, not throw away food, not be in situations where our farmers are getting pressed, where they have a place where they can sell their wares and they can grow stuff and then they can sell it in the open market, and anything extra they're shipping overseas, and we have free or fair trade. And we don't currently have that. All right. There are some places where we have it. Obviously, most of our soybeans go to China. And the ones that don't go to, I think, Ukraine or some shit like that, some ridiculous place. There are certain things that we have in these markets where, we do ship a lot of good stuff to different places. Okay. There are some of those, but it's not enough. So we need to be better. And in order to do that, we need to fight this tariff war. That's going to cause pain. But at the end of the day, again, I'm going to say this while saying I am not a fan of Donald Trump, but this is the right move. It sucks right now, but it won't suck forever. That it will get better. So, so we're not going to make any trades right now. I'm going to sit on this. I'm going to look. I'm not sure that we're at max pain yet. Again, this is the area where I gave you where I would say that's max pain. By the way, I wish I would have taken this trade. Where is my fucking trade? Like, again, we were talking about this last night, and I said to myself, like, man, I don't think this is a good idea. Like, God damn it. You know what I mean? Like 41.52. Like, I don't think that was a good idea. Like, I got pressed into it. I felt pressed into it because I had a show to do, and I wanted you guys to see me making trades. So if I'm able to survive this and not lose $5,000, if $5,600, I guess at this point, if I'm able to catch and save and salvage some of this along the way, if I can get a good reversal here on a few of these, and we get like a nice little surge on some of this over the next couple of hours. Remember, I don't need, what am I down here? On Bitcoin, I'm down 30% on Bitcoin, but my leverage position is 10x. I only need Bitcoin to go up 3% to get back even. Okay. So, I'm not really in bad straits in that regard. And then that will give me some capital to defend some of these positions if I feel like I need to. What I hope to see is some good pump come out of this. I hope the Asian market is in buy mode. It looks like early on we're in buy mode, but guess what? You never know what's going to happen long term. Like sometimes you see the market start to pump here and you're feeling good and you close your eyes, and then what is it, 7 o'clock now? Yeah. By 9 o'clock, you're down $50 billion because the market's just dumping because people are just selling off assets. So I don't know how this market's going to go. But again, this is the potential for the max pain area, so we might be there. Solana, maybe down to 187. Maybe down here. Like we could be going down further. Max pain on this. Anything, maybe below here. Like maybe to right here, we're still good at $176. Maybe we're still good because, again, up, 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 up. If we're sideways, that's still close to up. That's still not bad. If we rally from here, up, 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 this is just a healthy dip. So there is a possibility that we caught this in a pretty decent spot. Now, Solana, again, 212. I gave you guys my spot here and I didn't take my own advice. You know what I mean? Are you going to continue to hold your Luna Classic? I think so. Just because USTD didn't work out doesn't mean that the market module is not coming, doesn't mean that there's not growth to still be had there. So I don't think that I'm going to sell at this point. But also, just so you guys know, I'm buying some more Exceller. I got a couple wallets and I thought, you know what? Why don't I just fill up a couple wallets with Exceller? Because I think that one's going to pump. Also, I got a new video coming out for that in the morning. So you guys check that out at 8 a.m. And then we'll see what happens there. But we're up $12 billion on the day right now. Again, this is a max pain day. This is a potential, absolute crushing, horrible, you know what I mean? I don't know what's going to happen there. But we could see this is already done, okay? The reason for that is because, again, options expiry just started, okay? It is now 7 a.m. in Beijing. It's like 12-hour difference here. So they're at work right now, and it is the final Friday of the month. That is the biggest options expiry day. So it's already started in Japan. It's already started in Australia. It's already started or is starting in China. It's going to be sweeping the world for crypto options expiry. The European markets are going to wake up in a few hours. The Middle Eastern markets are going to wake up in a few hours. The Indian markets are going to wake up in a few hours. And then we're going to get to the USA. So in the event that happens, we could be looking at a massive run back, not a breakout, but at least a run back to some semblance of that entry position, like right here where I had it at 220. Like we could be looking at a rally to like 220-ish right here rapidly. You know what I mean? As this market starts to do this. Because look, if the dip is enough, then then the options expiry means that these people are going to take these trades and it's going to be very bullish because they're in the max pain price point. And what did we talk about at the beginning of this? There's 4 things that we were talking about. One of them is when we get to a huge quarterly options expiry, what do we see happen? We see just absolute annihilation of the market. God damn it. You know what? When was the last one? That's what we need. So March 31st, June. All right. So let's go back here. June 27. Okay. The last massive market was June 27. There we go. Okay. So, all right. So, what shit? We want total market cap. Duh. Stupid. God, Bleeves you're a fucking idiot. All right. So June 27 is right here. Okay. So that's June 27. Look what happened in the days leading up to June 27. We had that. We had a correction. And then we had a big red candle on this day too. So we had downward momentum going into this huge expiry. Downward momentum. And then what happened? We got to the day and the market started to heal and it started to go crazy. So could we be at the bottom? The last time it happened, it was before the expiry day, and then we took off. So where are we at right now? This is the day before the expiry day. This is the day through the it's all playing out almost the same way here. We did get a return a little bit faster, but we had that breakdown right before. So, all right. I added 2 more wallets too. Willard Morris says, I'm wanting to add more money into Runwago because it looks like it hit bottom. If you made a bunch of money off of Runwago, I would 351,000 market cap, and it ran up and it's now sitting at, where is it sitting? I think I might have removed it now because I sold my bag. 5.4 million market cap. Yeah, that could be a bottom. Yeah, as a matter of fact, that could be a bottom. So you got this dip right here, and you got this nice retest coming back up to about 7 from, what was that, 4.5. You got a dip down here a few hours ago, it looks like, into 4.88 in the course of this. I would be looking for, so if I'm making a play on it right now, best I could say is maybe 8 million market cap, right back up into this range right here. To me, that's a little bit risky for maybe a 2x or maybe 60% or something like that. Going back into the 10 million range makes it a little bit more attractive here, but it's going to have to survive a sell-off in this range right here. That accumulation right there means that when it comes up into this range, people are going to sell off and take profit because they bought right here. It dumped a little bit and now they're nervous. So they're going to sell when they get back to even. Same thing up here. You got that little consolidation right there. If you can break out into 10 or 12 million market cap right there, if you can break above that, then by the way, that is going to take you up to about 16 million market cap. So there's some potential for that move, and you can start playing the game now on Runwago. So there could be some opportunity right there, but I would say it's already had its run. I would move on to Exceller and see what Exceller does over the next couple of days as it launches, because they're doing some interesting things with their launch. By the way, they have 750 million tokens or something like that. But, oh, wait a minute. Shit, I can tell you. Exceller has a total of 700 billion tokens, and they've sold 365 million. All of the tokens that they don't sell are going to get burned. So they are going to disappear, and you'll never see them again. The Exceller is only going to launch with the tokens you have and the liquidity that is provided. So that looks like, to me, a marketing ploy, but it looks like a good marketing ploy that's going to get the same sort of pump that you just got from Runwago. You should see like a big run up on that one. So, fingers crossed, maybe we'll get a little something out of that. Also, don't forget, I have that link. I put $40 in link. It's like $400. And if I break even on this one, then we're gonna cash that one back out, because we're trying to accumulate and we're trying to get some of that profit back. So if we can get a nice little win off of that, open price was $20.54. Let's go. Oh, fuck my fucking life. This is horrible. This really looks bad. Okay, so what do I always tell you? I always tell you that we got a run up. We got a dump down into the 0.5. We got to run up to the 236. We got a deeper dive, and then we have a breakout up here. So $27. All right, so we're going to take Link on a limit order. $27. We're going to take Link at $27. All right. So that I think is fair enough on that play out. We want to do Solana here as well. So Solana broke down. So Solana broke down to the 618. It's probably going to come back up to 231. So we're going to take that at to confirm that. All right. We're going to take Solana 230. We're just going to set a take profit there at 230. That's the 236. What else do we have here? I'm just going to keep you guys informed on what I'm doing. Avalanche. All right. So we got AVAX right here. We got the breakdown right there. So we have the move, then we had the breakdown to the 786. Then we had the break upwards back to the really all the way back up, and then we had the full breakdown. So now we're looking at it coming back up to that, and that's going to be, I'm going to go 382 on this one. So $33. Yeah, $33. So we're going to set a full take profit. If we're lucky enough to survive this, we're going to take that at $33. All right. And then the only one that we have left is going to be Bitcoin. And Bitcoin, we're down about 30% on that, but we like Bitcoin. We love Bitcoin. We think Bitcoin is the Bitcoiniest Bitcoin of all Bitcoins. And we want to see it go down to the 0.5 on a reversal, right? So we're looking at this. We're looking at this. And now we're looking at the 0.5 is 113,308. What's our entry position? 112,500. So what are we looking for? We're looking for a strong rebound. So let's go 14,402. So we're going to take this and we're going to set the limit order at 114,400. If we get there, if we're fortunate enough to survive this, we're going to be a lot more careful in the future. So that's it. That's the show. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. It's not financial advice. I'm always right. I appreciate you guys. And make sure you share this content with your friends. We'll talk to you again very, very soon.
I'm looking for the good life, good life.